Ladies and gentlemen, today we have got the T-Captain X movement guide. So I get asked all the time, how do I get better at movement? And it's hard to answer this, especially just in a few sentences. So we're gonna have the dedicated movement guide video where we go over all the different techniques to help you get better at movement. We're gonna try to understand how to do them, know when to apply them. Also gonna show some real in-game examples of them too. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's first jump into settings before we go too far ahead. Number one, make sure your slide behavior is on tap. This is gonna help your slide cancels, make it a lot easier to do. And then also, I highly recommend doing automatic tack sprint. It does make using shotguns hard to use. It kind of delays getting them out. So if you love shotguns, this might not be the best for you, but I promise you your movement will be a lot better if you're on this setting. Now, the other thing I want to say is I am going to be doing this on a mouse and keyboard, but if you're a controller player, you can absolutely still follow along. All of the concepts still apply. All right, so let's first start with the basics, slide canceling. A lot of people don't really understand why we slide cancel. I think some people just think it looks cool, maybe. The real reason why we slide cancel is actually so you can sprint more and sprint faster. So this is a tack sprint where my gun is up, I'm running the fastest. When I do it, I run out of that tack sprint and now I get into this regular sprint. And this is a good amount slower actually than a tack sprint. But if I hit two slide cancels there, it refreshes my tack sprint. So basically what we're doing is we are slide canceling twice in order to get that tack sprint back. Now, how do we slide cancel? All it is it's gonna be crouch, crouch, jump in a rapid succession. And you have to do it while sprinting. So if you tried to do it when you were just walking, your guy's just gonna crouch, he's not gonna slide. So if you're sprinting, hit crouch, that's gonna make you slide. But we're gonna do it twice, and then we're gonna jump to get back into our sprint. So sprinting, crouch, crouch, jump. For me, it's shift, shift, space. Some other good ones for keyboard is C for crouch, or I've also seen people use it on their side mouse buttons. So again, crouch, crouch, jump, crouch, crouch, jump. And basically what we want to do when it comes to sprinting is we're going to be sprinting. You want to try to kind of get an idea for right before that tack sprint is going to end, and you're going to hit a slide cancel. If you slide cancel and your guy doesn't automatically go back into that tack sprint, then just do another quick slide cancel again, and you'll get back into that tack sprint. The other reason that we slide cancel is to break cameras. And what I mean by breaking cameras is when you do movements very quickly, especially when you're coming around like a corner in Call of Duty, whoever's coming around as the aggressor is always going to have like a split-second advantage of seeing their opponent first. So I'm gonna have my test dummy here, Duco, back up to right about here. And when he's right there, let's say I'm coming around this corner. If I just came around nice and slow and he was looking at me, he's gonna win this fight every time because he's already staring at me and I'm coming around too slow for it to make it hard for him to track and hit his shots. Now I could just jump and do this, and that's not a bad idea. But if we slide cancel, what that's gonna do is it's gonna keep my momentum going forward instead of just running out here and turning. And it is basically going to make it very hard for him to track me, which that is the entire point of good movement, is make it hard for your enemies to shoot at you. So you can use slide canceling. You can do it around corners is probably where it makes the most sense, because that's going to keep your momentum going instead of just running around, turning and aiming. The other time to do it is when you're right up on an opponent. So if I come out, I can slide cancel. And basically what slide canceling is doing is it's making it very hard to track. Versus if I were to just run around and stop, I'm moving a lot slower basically when I'm not slide canceling, because the slide canceling is one, changing my height, making it harder to track, and two, it's keeping my momentum and I can turn with that momentum. So as I'm sliding, I can turn, whereas if I'm running and turning, my whole character is moving. Okay, so we've got some options on how we can come around a corner when we think an opponent's gonna be there. So we can slide, you can do just a basic jump, but if you time it correctly, we can do what's called the bunny hop. Now, all a bunny hop is coming around a corner quickly and timing the jumps in order to keep your momentum going. Again, this makes it very hard to track. So the goal is I'm gonna come around the corner, sprinting, I'm gonna jump, turn in the air and face my opponent and start to aim down sight. as my momentum is going, I'm gonna jump right when I hit the ground, and then we're gonna try to jump again. If you time it perfectly, you can actually do a triple bunny hop. It's tough to do, but you can definitely get 1 to 2 jumps in where your momentum is gonna keep going and just make it hard for your opponent to track. So let's try this out here. Let's get our momentum, jump, turn. And that was only 1, I kind of got stuck there. So basically, as you can see, as long as you have the momentum, your guy's gonna keep bouncing. Now, it seems like in multiplayer, the momentum, the bouncing mechanic doesn't work quite as well, but in Warzone itself, it seems like if you have the momentum, you can carry that through and actually get the bunny hop in. Now, another way to do the bunny hop is if you go straight at your opponent, you can do what's called the fadeaway. So let's say my opponent is right here around this corner, and when I come around, I'm kind of surprised by him. So I could come around and you know, a normal player might just turn and try to shoot, but if he's looking at me, I'm probably dead. Instead, if I get caught off guard, I could jump and turn around, and then I could use that momentum to go backwards. So this one's a little bit trickier. You're gonna go forward, jump and aim, and then we're gonna go back and try to keep the momentum going forward. So again, and I'm kind of getting my momentum stuck here. It's all about timing. And basically, again, you're just keeping the momentum going so that it's harder for your opponent to track you. Now let's go over some other techniques of what to do, you know, when you're coming around a corner, because that's one of the biggest things where movement is involved, is when you're kind of caught off guard, you use your movement to get out of that situation, make it harder for your opponent to track you. So let's say I'm hugging this corner and bam, there's an opponent there. Again, the things you don't want to do are stop and shoot, because almost 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that fight. So option 1, which is probably the simplest to do, is what I call the slide through technique. If I'm sprinting, all I do is slide, and then you're gonna be able to go under him. So this is difficult for him because I'm going literally under him, and he would have to track like straight down. So instead of just aiming right here, now I'm basically going all the way through him. And for you, you know this is coming, so it's a lot easier for you to track. Another thing we could do is, we already talked about, we can just slide cancel, but as you see there, sometimes the slide canceling, you're gonna stop right in front of them. So you could slide cancel and then slide cancel again if you're confident enough in those to hit kind of a back-to-back slide cancel. So, or we can do the fadeaway bunny hop like we talked, or another one is simply we could slide cancel and then just fade away by just walking without even worrying about the jump. Because the whole thing is, you don't want to just stop in your tracks. So as I slide cancel, I'm going to keep moving. I'm hitting back. I can strafe, especially when we're playing with the Cold War SMGs. The movement's a lot faster with those when you're strafing, so it matters even more for those. An easier one to do is the drop shot. The drop shot's been around forever in Call of Duty. All it is when you come around and you get up on someone, you're going to just go into a prone and shoot. Now, what this does is, again, it's kind of like the slide through technique, where it drops the camera angle on them, where they have to go and aim down now on you. So if I'm coming around, just prone and shoot. Drop shotting it's a good thing to do as long as you're very close. If I'm far away and I try to drop shot, it's way too easy for him to adjust that aim, and then you're stuck when you're prone. So only do this as kind of a last ditch thing when you're really close, like when you get surprised that someone comes around the corner and you go into a drop shot. All right, something else we can do is use sliding to help us get in cover a little bit quicker. So let's say I'm carelessly coming around this corner and oh, there's an enemy there. I'm exposed here, I have no cover, and you know, I could shoot back, but he's already there. He's got a good chance of hitting his shots before me and dying. So what I want to do is kind of reset this fight. So as I come around and I realize, oh, there's a guy there, I can slide behind this half wall. I can prone if I need to, plate up, reload, and get back in the fight now that I have cover. Versus if I just ran into it, I'm exposed from here to here. But when I'm sliding, if I get behind cover, I'm below him where he can't shoot at me, and I'm in cover quicker because of the slide. And the same thing works if I'm farther away. Let's say he came around that corner right there and I'm running. I can slide straight into this. I can prone if I need to, or I can simply slide and now I have cover. I can go up and down. And that brings me into what's called snaking. So with snaking, you are going up and down basically in and out of cover. Now this isn't the best wall, so Devin, I'm gonna have you come over here. And let's use this wall. This is a perfect of what we call a head glitch. A head glitch is basically where it's only your head, your gun is just over. So if he were to be standing right there, see how his head is barely exposed. You have to be very accurate in order to hit those shots. But you, from this end, you have a clear angle of you can shoot everything basically. So if you're on a head glitch like this, we can snake by going up and down and seeing and going in and out of cover and getting shots on him. This is really good for in Warzone. Let's say you're trying to plate up, reload. All we have to be doing is instead of just laying here and staying behind cover, putting plates on, reloading, you can be snaking and going up and down while you're reloading, while you're plating or whatever. That way you know when he's pushing, versus if I'm doing this, I have no idea if he's pushing. This way I'm getting information and I know when he's coming. And then that brings me on to what's called shouldering. Again, let's say I know he's back here and I'm not sure if he's gonna push me, but I need to get plates on or I need to get ammo on. Now I could go back behind the wall. I could just plate up and sit here. I could, you could lay down and try to be all sneaky. But again, you don't know if he's gonna be pushing you. When I'm shouldering, what I can be doing is I can be just throwing shoulders, basically just strafing quickly left and right. And I'm just trying to barely expose myself. I don't want to stay out here, go in, stay out here, go in, because a good player will shoot you. But as you're plating, you're just getting a little peek. Oh, he's still there. Okay, he's not pushing me. Okay, he's still there. He's not pushing me. Now I'm plated up. Now I'm ready to go. Now I can jump around and throw some bunny hops, or I can jump around. I can slide cancel. Okay, or we can do a little slide through, something like that. There's different techniques that we've talked about so that we're throwing him off guard and it's not an easy chance for him to just push us with us not knowing that he's coming. So basically, now that we've kind of covered the base techniques of movement, talked about side canceling, bunny hopping, drop shotting, the slide through, the fadeaway. It's all about putting those together and knowing when to use them. The best one to start to master is just going to be slide canceling. So you can practice by coming around corners and shooting targets that you've spray painted or something like that. You can go around and kind of hit some bunny hops. There was a decent one there. And again, it's just getting those repetitions in. I mean, you can literally go around and just get that muscle memory of forming it, because if you do it instead of trying to learn it in a battle royale where it's a little bit more pressure, you're trying to think about what you're doing, you're not going to do as well. One other thing I wanted to touch on of something not to do is talking about mantling. So mantling on Call of Duty, when you mantle over things, you can't really do much. You can hip fire sort of, but there's like a delay of when you can do it, and you can't aim down sight or anything until you're over. So if I know my opponent's behind this, the last thing I want to do is mantle. You always want to go up and just avoid the mantle, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So either one, you go around the cover, slide cancel in, or you're jumping up and going over. That way you're not getting stuck on the mantling process. When we talked about shouldering, this can also go with using slide canceling back and forth from cover in order to get information. And basically you can keep doing this, kind of juking him out so he doesn't know which way you're gonna go. And then eventually you're kind of picking a direction after he's totally lost because you keep going back and forth. All right, so one thing I'm gonna show you guys is just the difference from your enemy's perspective of what it looks like to be like slide canceling with good movement versus just running around. So let's look on the kill cam here. This is just like regular sprinting, not crazy hard to track, nothing too, too insane there, right? So going back and forth. All right, so now we're gonna see the difference of, see how with the slide cancels of how much quicker I'm changing direction here. And basically you're using those, and the closer you are to someone, the more drastic of those direction changes it's gonna be. All right guys, so now that you have the kind of basic mechanics of movement down, and you kind of understand these different techniques we're gonna be using, I'm gonna try to show some in-game examples of how I'm using these, so that gives you an idea of what it looks like in game and when to use these in game yourself. Okay, so this first clip is gonna be, I'm gonna take on a guy here, but I know there's someone to the right. So all I'm gonna do is we're gonna slide cancel past the corner to make it harder for him to track me. So basically all you're seeing there is we get this guy down and we slide cancel through. And actually you can see he's actually looking more to the right. So he expected me to kind of more slowly come around this corner, but because I slide canceled through, I'm farther to his right than he expected for me to be. All right, in this one, this is a really basic example. I'm gonna go through this door. I know somebody is to the right of this door. All we're gonna do is we're gonna bust through and slide cancel through just to make it harder for myself to track.
Oh, left.
All right, so in this one, I'm in one of the little prison cells. I know there is a guy down to my right. So instead of slowly peeking out this corner, I'm gonna slide cancel out and then get shots on him. So he was actually hard scoping that with his sniper. If I were to slowly peek out, chances are he would have sniped me. So this clip, this slide cancel completely saves my life. As I'm getting the first guy down, a second guy comes in. I'm able to quickly slide cancel, basically break it to where he's no longer aiming at me to give me a chance to get shots on him. So I'm gonna start shooting him, and you're gonna see, you can barely see here, there's shots coming in from my left. So instead of me just turning and shooting, I'm gonna slide cancel away so I can get shots on him. So we'll let that play back one more time without me pausing it. And that was just a good example of where movement saved my life, essentially. All right, so this is an example of the bunny hop. So I know there's a guy out here to my right. You can see him on the UAV right here. Basically, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprint, we're gonna turn and aim, and we're gonna jump twice to keep that momentum going. So, and I don't know if you could hear him, but he's yelling, "He's cheating, bro," which, whatever. All right, so this one's not quite a bunny hop, but it's still using that momentum, the sprint and jump out of the way to make it very hard for him to track me. So I'm gonna shoot at this first guy, and someone's gonna come out to my right and kind of surprise me. Oh, get absolutely worked. So basically there, because I was able to quickly jump, it was very hard for him to track me, and I was able to get him down. Okay, this is gonna be an example of the fadeaway. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna get kind of caught off guard where I come around the corner and he's right in front of my face. So I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna turn around and keep that momentum going and keep working myself backwards. So basically he takes me off kind of by surprise here. Because I see these footsteps because I think I had specialist here, and I think he's farther in, but right as I come around, he's right in this corner. So because of that, I jump, get behind him, and we're gonna keep going backwards to make it harder for him to get back on target for me. And you can see his character model is, I mean, he's like faced the wrong complete direction. He's looking this way because I've flown around behind him basically. All right, so this is an example of the slide through. So this was where we kept the slide going to kind of drop under our opponent's camera angle. So there's a guy right out here to the right of this, and I'm basically gonna slide right past him.
Oh my god.
And you can see there that as I'm sliding past him, he is looking, I mean, look right here on this frame. He thinks I'm in here, but because I timed it and I'm sliding past him, he's not even looking at me. All right, so in this one, it's hard to see because the picture quality is not as well, but there's actually a guy coming out of this door right here. So I'm gonna drop down and kind of to the left of this truck, and he's gonna keep coming. So we're gonna slide out right past him. So see how he's still looking this way because I was over here, but I got way out to the right because of that slide.
Hackers.
And then he's calling me a hacker. So again, we'll let that play through without myself pausing it. But one thing that's important to note with this is it's very important to make sure you get your momentum. So see how I almost wind up by sprinting left for a second and then quickly turning back to the right. I did that basically so that I could get my character into full sprint before making the slide. All right, so in this one, I'm gonna get caught with my sniper out, and I'm able to get a quick scope on this guy. He's gonna come up right here at these stairs, but I'm not able to down him. It's gonna break his armor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide past him, switch to my PPSH SMG, and then finish him off with the slide through. So again, so you can see right there as I make that slide, oh, there was the frame right there. I've slid past him. He's still looking this way because I got to my sprint and slid with that momentum. All right, and then this is gonna be a pretty good example of movement and then adding it into a drop shot at the end.
No.
So there's a guy right in this doorway. There's the frame, gotta get on. Okay, so he's right here. I don't have a gun, so I open this chest and I quickly grab a gun here, and then I'm gonna run to the right to try to get in cover so he can't shoot me. I'm gonna slide out into him into a drop shot.
Oh my god, you're disgusting.
And then my friend is there hyping me up. So let's show that one more time without me pausing it. And you can see he is just like completely turned around trying to keep up with me. Okay, so in this one, there's gonna be a guy just to the left here, kind of around this building. We're gonna slide cancel around the corner, get him. As I come back though, there's gonna be a guy that's basically right where I am. So it gets a little awkward. Basically what I do is I actually sprint just past him and then turn around and drop shot. So right there, this guy's right in front of me. I'm kind of screwed here. There's not much I can do. I could maybe bunny hop left, but you'll see what I do is we're gonna kind of just go right past him, turn around and drop shot. So that was just a thing because I got right up on him. When you're really, really close to someone, like right on him, that's the best time to do a drop shot. It's not when you're far away. So there you go. I think we covered a little bit of everything. Now here's the thing. It takes a lot of practice just because you watch this video and maybe because you can master these individually, how to do them in a controlled scenario. What we've got to start doing is practicing to start knowing when to do it naturally and start pulling these off and get to a point where you can do all these moves without having to really think about it. You just got to kind of let it be natural. So guys, I hope that video helped. This was a fun video to make. It was a little tricky for sure, but it's been a very highly requested video. So guys, if it helped, please do me a big favor, drop a like on the video. If you're new here if this video helped you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's free. You can always unsubscribe. Also, if you're new, we do live stream here on YouTube. So if you want to catch those, make sure you have the notifications on. And yeah, that's it guys. Have a great one. We'll see you in the next one.